guys, today we're back on a new tutorial for Windows Server 2012. So, after running Windows Server 2012 for a few months, which is, I think it's about 1 year and a half, and I always want to make the system reliable and secured. So I want to back up my server. If anything goes wrong, I can immediately run the pre-configured server on the different hardware. So I came up to an idea that we could store the whole system into a virtual hard disk, because having a Windows backup, for example, we navigate into the backup, Windows Server backup, so it will create a folder. So I have here an external hard drive which is 1 terabyte, and I create a backup as of September 23, 2018 to 2018, 25 AM. So successfully created the backup, the whole disk, system state, and other related data. I did backup the whole system by using this Windows backup, but it created a read-only file here, which cannot be accessed from a different computer, so it is secured, so nobody can just install your server without having access to the file. So that is one of the main problem if I tried to replicate my main physical server into a virtual machine or into another physical server. I came up with an idea that I had to back up my whole system, server system, and the related data into a virtual hard disk. So that virtual hard disk is like an .iso file. If you are familiar with that ISO file, when you are installing an operating system or games, it is stored in that ISO file, which can be mounted into your computer as if it is optical drive, which can have higher storage capacity. For example, the GTA 5 has 50 gigabyte in one ISO file. So to continue, the VHD is like an ISO file. You can mount it on your computer or attach the VHD as if it is a physical hard disk. So what we need to do is to create a VHD file. We navigate into your menu, Windows menu, and just type on computer management. Now, after initializing computer management, navigate into the disk management, where we will gonna create complete virtual hard disk to copy our whole system. What we need to do is to create right click on disk management and create VHD. So later on, as you can see here, we can attach a VHD here as if there is another hard disk. That VHD will be saved to somewhere in a disk that can hold its maximum capacity. So let's create. We will browse to where will be saved the .vhd file. So I will rename this WinSer12. I always make the file name to be informative as possible. So this is a WinServer 2012, and it is from web server B2, which is the computer name of this physical server. And what is the type of this VHD? A backup. Personal preference, I would always want to make the file name informative as possible. So I click save. There are two types of virtual hard disks. Basically, we have the VHD and VHDX. VHD can support up to 2 terabyte, while VHDX can hold up to 64 terabyte. But standard or regular backup, because we are not a large-scale company or web server, we can have the VHD, which is a common type of a virtual hard disk. We can have the peak size and dynamically expanding. What is the difference of these two? So peak size, as the name implies, if you put here, for example, what is the total capacity of the virtual hard disk? I put 120. So if peak size, no matter if, for example, The total use storage for my disk is about 40 gigabyte, and I have 74.8 pre-storage. If this is set to fixed size, the file size of the VHD file will be always 120 gigabyte, the virtual disk size. But if we set this to dynamically expanding, if whatever the size of the content of the VHD file, it should be the size of the virtual hard disk, but the maximum will always be the hard disk size. So even if the fixed size is the recommended virtual hard disk type, we want to choose dynamically allocated or dynamically expanding. So let's click OK. Hopefully that was informative for you. So we have created a disk, a virtual hard disk, which is currently not initialized. So think of it as it is a hard disk bought as a brand new, and you inserted it onto your server. It will not be visible here because new hard drive is not currently initialized, so we need to create a basic file system for it. So we need to right click and initialize disk, and the disk 2, just always check the disk 2 is the backup. So the disk 1 is the primary, this one. We use the master boot record, click on it. Now the option is now available. We can now create a simple volume from this unallocated drive. Unallocated drive is not visible on your computer if we are not creating simple volume. Now we need to create the simple volume. Use simple volume. Next, we use the total simple volume from the maximum disk space. Click next, and we assign a drive letter. So this should be E because the last disk here is D. We can have it on E. Click next, and we choose a file system. Basically, when you back up your own system, we need to replicate the format of the main primary system. So like this, the system drive, which is a simple layout, basic type, in NTFS file system. So we need to click on NTFS. So default allocated size and the volume name. I think what should be the volume of this? The volume name is to be the backup. Like this one. What is the name of the volume? We can just leave it blank so that it will be renamed as local disk, or we can rename that. I think we should leave it on to a blank label. Quick format, yes. Enable file and folder compression. Enable file. I think just leave it to default. File and folder compression. We just leave it to default. Just click next. I think this is about compression. When you save a file, it should be saved as if it is compressed, but we can leave it to default. So click next. So this is the main information of the main drive. As you can see, if we click finish, the drive will appear here as if we inserted a new physical drive. Formatting, currently formatting. Let's just wait for a few seconds, or if this thing keep on processing. And now it's done. As you can see, a new hard disk as shown here called the local disk E. Because we don't name that, it will be automatically renamed by Windows as local disk. This has a capacity of 119. If we click on this one, so where did we store the VHD file? So we click on backup. This is the VHD file. So as you can see, even it is a 120 gigabyte virtual hard disk, it is only currently 106 megabytes of hard disk. That's how you create the virtual hard disk from Windows Server. And the next one is how to back up this whole system drive into that one, so that we can replicate the server into, or we can back up, literally back up your server. If there is problem, you can replicate the whole system into a physical computer or a virtual machine. So that's it, and the next will be how to back up.
Thank you for watching. If you like this video, click subscribe. More to come. Click here to play this video.